Bonjour. Well, I am here at Château Lestevenie, and as promised, I'm going to interview Petrie and Jaco Terblanche. Petrie and Jaco, you both were in careers that took you all over the world. So what brought you to France? How did you end up here?
So it's been a journey from when we left South Africa, almost in the beginning of 2000.
Yeah.
First went to the US, Jaco to the UK, and due to the privilege to have a job opportunity in France, brought me to France in 2015, where Jaco joined us as well.
Okay, 2015 then.
2015, yeah.
Okay, and when did you move to rural France?
We were living in Paris for the first 4 or 5 years, and then we started looking just around the COVID time
Okay.
for properties, and we found this one online, and it was in we purchased Lestevenie in 2022, but we only
Right.
moved here in 2023, in summer of 2023.
Wow, so that's quite recent, yeah.
Quite recent, yes.
Okay. Do you make use of a winemaker, or do you have winemaking experience?
Yes, so let me just sort of backtrack a bit on that. My background is on the finance side, so
Right.
Jaco on the science. So we realized that part of our business plan, we have sort of an opportunity for somebody else to join us as well at the property.
Okay.
Because we don't have the wine experience, but we were looking for somebody that could help us with that.
Right.
So we have employed a winemaker that's also looking after the vineyard.
Okay.
And also helping us with making the wine.
Okay.
And he's also from South Africa, and been in the country for the last six years. So he is well adversed and equipped with how to make wine in France, and also the responsibilities around that.
I was always wondering, is there a huge difference between South African winemaking and French winemaking?
I think there's some differences because, as you know, France is known as the old world wine.
Yeah.
And South Africa is part of the new world wine.
Right.
And I think in France they have a lot to protect. The name of the French wines are very well protected, so very well regulated.
Yeah.
So the way that you make wine, for instance, in Bordeaux, we all know the Bordeaux blends. Even here in Bergerac, it's known as the Bergerac blends. And if you want to use the name of that region, or that appellation as we call it in French, you have to stick to a certain recipe.
Right.
Whereas in South Africa, it doesn't have that type of regulation. You are more free in terms of what you can do and how you can blend the wines.
Sure.
So at least there is definitely some differences.
Okay. And I'm just having a look now. How far does your property go?
We have a total of 30 hectares here at Lestevenie. As you can see, the vines here, as they drop down towards the valley, we have a line of forest. And beyond the forest, we even have some pastures where there is, we're lucky enough to have great nature and fauna and flora. There's about 18 different species of wild orchid in those pastures.
Wow.
And then of course we have the forests, so a lot of wildlife. We have deer, we have hare, we have wild boar, so really privileged to have all the wildlife here as well, and not just vineyards. And the biodiversity of that is something that really attracted us to the region as well.
Right, and you said the house is more or less situated
in the center, yes.
In the center of the farm. Okay, so different vineyards.
So we've got our white cultivars down the valley and the red cultivars up in the hill. It's more sunny and different limestone sort of soil as well, terroir.
Right. So what different types of wine do you produce? Obviously white and red.
Yes, so for our red grape varieties we have Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc and Merlot.
Right.
And for the white grape varieties we have Semillon, Sauvignon Blanc and a little bit of Muscadel. And so yes, we create our white wines, we create our red wines, and we also create a really nice rosé.
Okay.
But on top of the white wines, we also create a really good, as we call it here, a brut, a sparkling wine. It's made in the same style as champagne, but we're not allowed to call it champagne because we don't live in Champagne.
Of course.
And then to add to the, let's say, the variety of the white wines, we also produce a very sought after sweet wine, or a noble late harvest, which is it's unique to this area called Sausagnac. And it's the Lestevenie has produced some really good Sausagnac in the past, and actually this year will be the first year that we will produce our own Sausagnac again.
Wow, okay. Any award-winning wines?
Yes, our Sauvignon Blanc, the white wine, we were really happy this year. It produced a silver medal on Decanter, which is a very well-known worldwide wine judging organization. And one of our red wines scored a bronze medal. And then we also have some accolades of gold medals with the Gilbert and Gilead competition that we've entered as well, for both our rosé, the white, and the red. Yeah.
Great. Could we take a walk around?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we're planning, this year we had summer soirees, 6 of them during July and August, and we will plan to do similar soirees next year,
Okay.
July and August, where we have pop-up restaurants and French jazz DJ, as well as offering our selected wines.
Great.
We also probably will have some picnic spots where you can have a basket and wine to enjoy in the vineyard, and most likely also some walking trails in the future that we plan out here in the property.
Wonderful. Okay, Jaco and Petrie, I love drinking wine, but when it comes to wine tasting, I'm a complete novice. So could you give me any tips?
Yes, well, we were novices as well, so we had to learn very quickly. So it's not that difficult, and it's easy for anybody who's interested in wine.
Really?
So usually we pour the wine a little bit in the glass, and the first thing is we look at the color.
Okay.
You can get some ideas from the color, what type of grapes have been used in the wine.
Right.
Then we smell it, swirl it around the glass and smell it, because when you swirl it, some of the molecules that creates the fragrances are released.
Right.
And as you swirl them, you can get all these different types of smells and fragrances.
So tell me, what are you supposed to smell then?
Well, it's all different. So a quick background into chemistry, not to bore you too much. But when you smell something, it's actually molecules that bind to the receptors on your nose, inside your nose.
Right.
And that then is relayed to your brain to tell you what type of smell or taste that will be. And that you learn when you are a baby or a small child by eating and smelling all different kinds of things, and then associating that type of smell with that fruit or flower. And with grapes, it's the same thing. It's a molecule that's created inside the grapes.
Right.
And that molecule, when it's released in the air and you smell it, it binds to the receptors in the same way that an apple or a pear or a gooseberry would have done when you first tasted it, and then it reminds you of that taste or smell. Depending on the grape varieties, it can be very different. Anything from cut grass to apple to gooseberry, and the red wines are again very different. More red fruit, chocolate, even more mineral kind of smells and tastes.
And particularly for our red wines, so we have the plum or the cherry.
Okay.
And then where we have where the wine spent some time in the oak barrels, we had the wood, or the give us sort of the chocolate flavor into that. So the whole blend is really interesting when you start tasting the wine.
Okay. So you smell first and then you taste.
That's right.
Okay, I'll remember that now from now on.
Don't just finish the glass.
Okay. Right, I love the wine label. Could you explain to me?
Yes, certainly. So a little bit about the history. Our surname is Terblanche, and Petrie's great-great-grandfathers were from France.
Right.
And they were part of the Huguenots who fled France in the early 1700s. And they made South Africa their new home. So they've basically found their new life in the southernmost tip of Africa.
Okay.
And it's kind of serendipitous now, 300 years later, that we make our way back as the Terblanche family to France. And when you directly translate Terblanche, it means white earth. And as you've probably seen coming down our drive, we have these beautiful white calcareous soils, beautiful white soils, which is the white earth that we have now returned to. So we wanted the tea to take some prominence, the Terblanche tea. And so the tea signifies our journey all the way from the south to the north, but it also signifies the growth of a vine all the way from the ground up until it eventually creates the two arms that will bear the fruit. On the one side we have the foliage, and this represents your joie de vivre, your fun side of life. And the other side is what we say in French, the cépage and the vintage. And this depicts your more professional side of life, your career, your more serious side of life. And as we would like our lives to be in balance, we would also like to have our wines nicely balanced. So the tea also indicates a scale, a balance,
of course,
which shows that everything is in balance. And then we're also lucky enough to have twins, Nico and Emma. And so the tea also represents them. The twins.
Wonderful. Okay. Jaco and Petrie, thank you so much for your time. My last question is there anything you miss about South Africa?
I think the things that we miss is probably the family. They are, our families are both still in South Africa and alive. And also maybe some of the products that we are used to for the children. So Prenetro and Blatjang is one of those things that is always on
Mrs.
the board.
Mrs.
Ball's order on the short list if somebody's coming to visit. Those are the two items that we put on the list to receive from South Africa.
Okay, I have two different items. The one is definitely Mrs. Ball's chutney. The other one is Cook Sisters.
No, but I just to emphasize what Petrie says, I think also family is probably one of the things we miss. I have to say though, we have really integrated well here, and the people has been amazing, like so acceptive, so friendly, so helpful, and that has helped a lot.
I found the same.
So that was great. And then we're lucky enough to have a very big house with a lot of rooms, so we always invite friends and family to come and stay with us. So that's great that we have that ability for people to come and stay and fill the house with voices and laughter. That's what we like.
This last time I met somebody's parents.
My parents were
Your
here.
parents were here. Okay.
Yeah, it's always great to have family and friends. So yeah, we look forward to having more
Okay. Okay. Until next time, a bientôt.